from dishwasher to emperor of artificial intelligence. This is the story of Jensen Huang and NVIDIA, a $3 trillion colossus that now controls 80% of the AI chip market. But behind the leather jacket, soaring stock price, lies a darker tale of immigrant struggle, ruthless competition, and mounting global scrutiny. How did a Taiwanese immigrant build the most valuable company on Earth, and at what cost? Born in 1963 in Tainan, Taiwan, Jensen Huang's life began far from Silicon Valley's wealth. At age 9, his parents sent him and his brother to live with relatives in Kentucky, a traumatic separation that would shape his worldview. The boys were soon sent to a tough boarding school in rural Tennessee, where young Jensen faced both culture shock and racial discrimination. To survive, he developed a fierce work ethic and resilience. After high school, Huang worked as a dishwasher, busboy, and waiter at Denny's. Humble beginnings that he still lists proudly on his LinkedIn profile. These early struggles forged a relentless drive that would later define NVIDIA's corporate culture. After earning engineering degrees from Oregon State and Stanford, Huang joined AMD, then LSI Logic. But by 1993, he saw a future others missed. While the world focused on general-purpose computing, Huang believed specialized graphics processing would transform gaming and eventually computing itself. With fellow engineers Chris Malachowsky and Curtis Priem, he founded NVIDIA with just $40,000 in startup capital. The company name came from the Latin word invidia, meaning envy. Their first breakthrough came in 1999 with the GeForce 256, marketed as the world's first GPU, or graphics processing unit, a term NVIDIA itself coined. But the road was rocky. The company nearly went bankrupt multiple times in its early years, with Huang often working 18-hour days and sleeping under his desk. As NVIDIA grew, so did Huang's reputation for ruthless competition and demanding leadership. Former employees describe a culture of fear and exhaustion, with one saying, "Jensen finds value in torturing his employees instead of firing them." His management style has been called demanding and not easy to work for. Criticisms Huang embraces, saying, "That's the way it should be." This intensity drove NVIDIA to dominate the GPU market, crushing competitors like 3DFX, which it acquired in 2000 after a bitter rivalry. NVIDIA's aggressive patent enforcement and exclusive partnerships have repeatedly raised antitrust concerns. In 2009, Intel paid NVIDIA $1.5 billion to settle a patent dispute, while a class action lawsuit accused NVIDIA and AMD of price fixing in the graphics card market, allegations that continue to shadow the company. While NVIDIA dominated gaming graphics, Huang made a bet that would transform the company. In 2006, he launched CUDA, a platform allowing GPUs to perform general computing tasks beyond graphics. This seemingly technical decision would later position NVIDIA at the center of the AI revolution. When deep learning emerged, researchers discovered NVIDIA's GPUs were perfectly suited for the massive parallel processing needed to train neural networks. What followed was perhaps the greatest business pivot in history. By 2016, NVIDIA was aggressively repositioning from a gaming company to an AI powerhouse. The gamble paid off spectacularly. From 2016 to 2025, NVIDIA's stock price increased by over 20,000%, making early investors fabulously wealthy, and Huang himself one of the richest people on Earth with a net worth exceeding $100 billion. By 2025, NVIDIA's dominance had become so complete that antitrust regulators worldwide began investigations. The U.S. Justice Department's Antitrust Division contacted NVIDIA to probe its business practices, particularly its 80% market share in AI chips. This wasn't NVIDIA's first brush with regulators. In 2022, its attempted $40 billion acquisition of chip designer ARM collapsed after fierce opposition from the FTC, UK Competition and Markets Authority, and European Commission. Regulators feared NVIDIA would restrict ARM's licensing model, harming competitors who relied on ARM designs. The failed deal cost NVIDIA a $1.25 billion breakup fee. Critics argue NVIDIA maintains its dominance through a CUDA lock-in strategy, making it difficult for customers to switch to competitors' products, while the company insists its success comes from superior technology and massive R&D investments. NVIDIA doesn't actually manufacture its chips, instead relying on Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, as its primary producer. This relationship has made NVIDIA a geopolitical player in the escalating tensions between the US and China over semiconductor supply chains. As the US government restricted chip exports to China, NVIDIA created special China-compliant versions of its AI chips, slightly downgraded to meet export controls while still capturing the massive Chinese market. Meanwhile, NVIDIA's insatiable demand for manufacturing capacity has created global shortages. The company's H100 AI chips, selling for up to $40,000 each, have become so scarce that a gray market has emerged with markups reaching 50%. This scarcity has given NVIDIA enormous pricing power, with profit margins exceeding 70%, far higher than traditional semiconductor companies. As NVIDIA approaches a $4 trillion valuation, questions about its future intensify. Competitors like AMD, Intel, and Google are investing billions to challenge NVIDIA's AI dominance. Meanwhile, major customers, including Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon, are developing their own custom AI chips to reduce dependence on NVIDIA. The company faces a classic innovator's dilemma, defending its incredibly profitable current business while preparing for the next technological shift. Huang's response has been to push NVIDIA beyond chips into software, services, and complete AI systems, potentially competing with the very customers who buy its chips. This strategy risks alienating partners, but could position NVIDIA as the standard setter for the entire AI industry. As one analyst noted, Jensen Huang isn't building a company, he's building an empire. From a Taiwanese immigrant washing dishes to the emperor of AI, Jensen Huang's journey embodies both the American dream and Silicon Valley's ruthless ambition. NVIDIA's rise represents perhaps the greatest creation of wealth in corporate history, but also raises profound questions about market power, technological dependence, and the concentration of AI capabilities in a single company's hands. As artificial intelligence reshapes our world, one man and one company stand at the controls. The question remains, will NVIDIA's empire bring prosperity to all, or will its dominance come at too high a price?